The Ghana Journalists Association yesterday officially received a certificate of unionization from the Ghana Trades Union Congress (TUC) after 6 decades of attempts to get one. Per the International Federation of Journalists recommendation, countries across the world have a 2018 deadline to be unionized. The GJA president expressed satisfaction at the meeting the deadline and is confident the union would increase the negotiation powers of the GJA to have conditions of service for media practitioners improved. Well, this evening we have been joined in the studio by President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland Alphamoni. Good evening and thanks for your time.
Good evening.
So, after 6 decades of waiting, finally GJA has a certificate of unionization from the Trades Union Congress.
Sure.
For members of the Ghana Journalists Association, what does this mean?
First of all, let me state emphatically that 12 September 2017 will occupy a special place in history as the most momentous day in the history, in the life of the GJA, because, as rightly said, it was the day we received our certificate of unionization. This union baby has been incubating for decades, as you rightly said. Thank God we actualized your dream yesterday. And it means we now are legally empowered to serve as intermediary between our workers, our members, and the employees. And I believe we don't need to rake up the wounds. Many Ghanaian workers are not paid well. In some work case scenarios, they are not paid at all. And so, as the saying goes, man must survive. And the survival instinct and sometimes pushes them to certain criminal heights, which I believe should not be repeated. Thank God all this will hopefully be consigned to the dustbin of history with the with the receipt of the union certificate.
How would the Ghana Journalists Association negotiate the conditions of service for journalists, especially as, in some cases or most cases, journalists themselves do the negotiation themselves?
First of all, we want every media worker to join the union train. Some are already unionized, those who belong to the social media and TV3, but majority, with the explosion on the media landscape, majority of our media workers are now in the private sector. So our main focus is to target media workers in the private sector, and this will give us this will now empower us to look at the conditions under which they work. And we said yesterday, and it's best repeating, we are not out to set ourselves on a coalition course with employers, not at all. Thus, we don't believe in antagonism. We're not going to antagonize anybody. Ours is to dialogue with the employers and let them appreciate the fact that decent working conditions have the prospect to crystallize into improved conditions, and improved conditions will also hopefully, reflect in qualitative output in whatever they do. And this in turn will also yield high dividends on the investment. So that mutual relationship, mutual benefit to the employer and the employees will be established with the unionization of the GJA and media workers.
So does this mean that you're going to directly negotiate with media employers on behalf of journalists?
Certainly, yes. Once they sign on, then we are now legally obliged to respond to their issues. So as we speak, even though we have all the power by virtue of what we do as media practitioners, we exert all the influence. Now we have that legal underpinning to the power we wield and influence the pedal. And this will help us to shape better working conditions for media workers.
Does this require all journalists to be registered under GJA?
Yes, we're rolling out an intensive and expansive membership drive. We've been restrictive over the years in terms of membership. Now we've opened the floodgates, so we are encouraging every media worker across the country to join.
Well, just before you go away, next week we have elections of the Ghana Journalists Association, and I'm sure you've seen social media, some people personally attacking you. Are you perturbed by these attacks?
Portia, I am disinclined to be deflected from doing what is right. Even in the twilight of my first term, I will not flinch from doing what is right, championing the interest of our members. Just what did yesterday is ample proof of what we have done and what we can do.
So you sure of victory next week?
I trust in the sense of judgment of journalists, and I believe this election is not about who is most popular. It's about who is equipped in an eminent manner with substantive competence and professional solidity to lead the organization.
Right. Well, just before you go, I did say just before you go, there's this issue about insurance packages for journalists, and
certainly,
I'm
yes,
giving you this opportunity to address
it is
this.
one of our landmark achievements. You know, our job is that we are exposed to all kinds of risks and dangers.
And the question is, how many journalists have benefited from this?
As I said, hitherto many journalists were not our members, but with the unionization, every media worker has now the window of opportunity to join. Then you'll be in a position to also assess what you have. We're going to also activate our research fund. We had a seed money from Fidelity Bank. There are lots of packages we've lined up, apart from unionization, we've also done insurance. And then GJA fund. You know, many journalists after retirement are condemned to join the pauperized community because of the pitiable condition in which they find themselves. Now, after 5 years, you have the opportunity to access the fund, and when you retire, you are guaranteed something handsome to ensure that you live a decent life.
Well, thank you very much. Rolanda Filmoni is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association.